World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good day, I am Peñano with today's World News in 5. Hong Kong police have arrested senior officials of Prestige Construction on suspicion of manslaughter following the city's deadliest fire in nearly 80 years. Authorities say at least 83 people were killed and hundreds remain unaccounted for after flames tore through the Wang Fu Court housing complex in Tai Po, which had been under renovation and covered in bamboo scaffolding. Deputy Fire Services Director Derek Armstrong Chan says crews battled intense heat and collapsing debris for more than 24 hours before containing the blaze. Police allege the firm used unsafe materials that allowed the fire to spread rapidly. Chief Executive John Lee has announced a $300 million relief fund as the community mourns what officials call Hong Kong's worst fire since 1948. In our news, the Federal Bureau of Investigation or FBI has opened a terrorism investigation into the Afghan national accused of shooting 2 National Guard members near the White House. Federal agents searched multiple properties and seized electronic devices linked to 29-year-old Ramanullah Lakanwal, who officials say entered the U.S. in 2021 under an Afghan resettlement program. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro identified the critically wounded soldiers as Sarah Beckstrom and Andrew Wolf. Authorities say the suspect drove cross-country before ambushing the pair and was later shot and arrested. The case has been a political flashpoint, with Trump administration officials blaming immigration vetting, even as government records show Lakanwal's asylum was approved this year under President Trump. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Ukrainian and U.S. delegations will meet this weekend to advance a peace and security framework discussed during recent talks in Geneva. In his nightly address, Zelensky said the goal is to refine points that could guide Ukraine toward peace and security guarantees. He added that the Ukrainian team is preparing for meaningful work and that additional high-level talks, including his own participation, are scheduled for next week. Zelensky emphasized Ukraine will stand firmly on its feet as discussions move forward. And finally, a Peruvian court has sentenced former President Pedro Castillo to 11.5 years in prison for rebellion and conspiracy. The ruling stems from his failed attempt in late 2022 to dissolve Congress and assume emergency powers, an action that led to his swift removal and nationwide protests that left dozens dead. Castillo, who has been in detention since his ouster, argued in court that he merely read a document without consequence. Prosecutors had sought 34 years. His conviction comes just a day after ex-President Martin Vizcarra was sentenced to 14 years for bribery, adding to Peru's growing list of jailed former leaders. And that concludes today's edition of World News in 5. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, I am Peñano. Good day.
World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.